Evening to all.
Namaste.
Good evening, ma'am.
So before we formally begin, just wanted to know our chief guest, Dr. Sridhar, are you there? I think iPhone, you are there, sir. Yeah. Heartiest welcome, sir. And our resource person, Niti ma'am, you are there? Niti ma'am, are you there?
I saw the name. The participants list, ma'am, was there.
So we know today's, before we go for agenda and all for today, we'll formally have a small inauguration kind of thing. You know, all our things start with invoking gods. So we'll have a small lighting the lamp. And since in the virtual world we are living and it is online, so I would request our chief guest to use his mobile phone to give the flashlight from there, and our people on behalf of him will light the lamp from here. So I'll request Sridhar sir to give the flashlight of mobile from that side so that we can light the lamp here.
Thank you, ma'am. I have turned on my flashlight now.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening. Yes, sir. Very good evening. Can you all hear me or not?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very
Good
good
evening,
evening.
sir.
Very good evening, Venu sir. Good evening, VSR sir. Hello, ma'am.
So when Dr. Sridhar
Yes.
shows light, we will ensure that the light reaches here, sir.
I've turned on my flashlight. Yes, it's turned on. You can please go ahead.
Sir, please show mobile light, so we will
Yes.
ensure that it reaches here.
Like this.
The second mobile phone, right?
Yes,
One
yes.
minute. Let me see if I get my second mobile phone out.
Yeah.
Got it? There you
Yes,
go.
sir.
Okay.
So it has reached, sir. On your behalf, sir.
Thank you.
दीपज्योति परब्रह्मा दीपज्योति जनार्दन दीपो मे हरतु पापं दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So that is the power of educators. The light can reach anywhere to anywhere virtually. So thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. So we'll just begin the program. First of all, welcome all of you. On behalf of Smart Cerebrum Private Limited, I welcome you all for the formal inauguration of Smart Experts Group, right? So of course, the group was earlier also there, but it has been reframed, and so formal inauguration is done today. So I'll just brief you the flow of the program. Many of you are already known to Smart Cerebrum, so they don't need any introduction of Smart, but some of you are new to the company. So we'll have a brief introduction of what we do. Then we'll go ahead with the presentation of our resource person for today, who's Niti ma'am. I'll introduce her when we enter into the PPT section of her, or presentation of her rather, on Ek Bharat and Shreshta Bharat. And last, not the least, will be the address by our chief guest, Reverend Dr. Sridhar. And he needs no introduction, but still I'll try to introduce him in brief when it comes his address to all of us. So please allow me to share. So this is the brief of about smart cerebrum. As you all know, we make smart cerebrums smarter. All the educators are obviously very smart. That's why they chose to be educators. So our job is very small. We make the smart cerebrums smarter. The activities of SMART are basically four main. One is Health Smart Holistic English Learning Program. Another is Smart Math Lab, and then Smart Services, and last but not the least, Smart Membership. These are the few pictorial depiction of the help classes which we have been doing at different places. The beneficiaries of help, that means spoken English classes, are students, teachers, or the professionals. We have covered various parts of the country where we have trained different kind of people, beneficiaries in holistic English learning program, that means in spoken English, right from the rural sector to urban sector to prestigious CBSE board and Haridwar, Patanjali too. This is a little bit of statistics of how we have covered different kind of participants in the spoken English classes, and a few things which are unique to our spoken English classes are that we promise to make everybody speak in English within 10 days or within 30 hours. The modes are both direct as well as online interactions. And of course, it is no regular class, no pen paper allowed. Everything is done in a fun theatrical based activities. So, and there is no standard module as such. Of course, standard module exists, but each class is sculpted as per the participants' present knowledge. It has got multiple levels also, and it is of course helpful for the institutions to get the better results in academics as well as in the visibility. I think the PPT got stuck here. Moving to the next slide. So I'm sorry for the technical glitch. Yeah, we have covered about the spoken English classes. The next service by SMART is MATLAB, which has got various components which you can see here, like models which cater from grade 10, charts, online support for usage of the models, user manual, the reading material, how to use it, DVD, self-explanatory videos to use all the models, and services required that is also provided. And it also covers the manipulatives. Second last, we have the smart services, wherein we conduct the classes on English, science, and mathematics for government or aided schools, Kannada medium students from rural sector. Usually the beneficiaries are 10 schools from rural sector, and by God's grace and well wishes of all of you, it's the 4th consecutive year that we have been conducting these classes for different children in the belts of Durbalapura as well as Kanakpura belt. And the results shown are very promising because they get the kind of classes which make impact and help them to excel in their own area. And you can see the graph. The graph motivates us. The number of distinctions, the number of first divisions motivate us to do even more and reach out to many more schools in the coming years. One more in the SMART cap is the SMART members. We have esteemed schools as our members, wherein we provide the year-long consultation to them regarding whatever is the norms of the affiliation board, the required trainings, clear their doubts, everything throughout the year. We hold the hand of the school to solve all their academic or administrative issues. So coming to the point of SMART experts, as I told you, already there was a group last year which helped all of us in the pandemic time, because mutual learning was happening, and a lot of people like Lalita ma'am and Lalita ma'am and Sandeep sir, Kulkarni sir, Sridevi ma'am, and lot more eminent principals had conducted a lot of sessions on learning for all of us together. So we thought of, we'll make even more meaningful group, which we named as SMART Experts, which we are launching today formally. Why it is there, we will just discuss a few objectives and we will see later how we can take it further with the inputs from all of you. So it's a mutual learning platform, and no good mornings, birthday wishes and all. It has never happened actually also in the group. So we will have the sessions, mutual learning sessions, which is happening today is the inaugural one, every Saturday evening, or at the most Saturdays which everybody is available, we will have these sessions which will be covering the topics of academics, administrative, or some mandatory things from the board in K-12 sector, because all of us are interested in that. And the resource persons will be nobody else but the principals of this esteemed group. And in between, yes, sessions by the eminent people will be conducted here. And whatever academic materials which are already being shared also, that will happen at a faster pace in the group. So these are the objectives we listed. You're most welcome to suggest for more objectives to make this group even more meaningful. So you can kindly put in the chat box if you feel that this could be added to make it more meaningful and the learning to be more meaningful. And of course, you all know how to reach us. So at this point, I'll stop sharing my PPT and I'll hand over the session to our resource person of today, that is Niti ma'am. So Niti ma'am is a very eminent academician. She has more than 2 decades of experience in education, and she has won various awards, some formally, some informally. You know, as teachers, we keep getting awarded by or rewarded by our students. So some formal, some informal. She has a long list of awards to her credit. And she has been doing a great work in what we call as Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat. So I would request her to enlighten all of us on Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat, which of course the circular came very long ago, but many of us are still not clear about what activities we can do on this. So I request Niti ma'am here to take over.
Ma'am, can I have a host control?
Yeah, ma'am, we'll make you co-host. Yes, ma'am, you can kindly go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Just 1 second, ma'am.
A humble request from one of the participants to please switch on your videos. Yes, that makes the session lively, Lalita ma'am. You're absolutely right. And usually I request everybody, but today somehow I forgot to do that. Thanks for reminding me. Kindly switch on your videos wherever possible.
Ma'am, PPT is visible?
Yes, ma'am, visible. Kindly go to the
Ma'am, is it visible, ma'am?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is visible. Kindly go to the first slide and make it as a slideshow.
Yeah, it's the first slide I'm sharing right now. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, it is visible, but it is in between. I think it is fourth slide. Kindly go to the first one.
Okay, again, I'll share it, ma'am.
Yes, please. If you want, should we share from here?
Ma'am, please. I don't know why I cannot share
No
it.
worries. We'll share from here. Kindly stop
But
sharing.
I think it is the first slide now. Can you check it, ma'am? Is it the first slide open?
No, ma'am, we are seeing the fourth slide.
Okay. Can you please share my PPT?
Yes, ma'am, we'll share from this side.
Yes,
Stop sharing, please.
right. Namaste, everyone. I'm Niti, as Alka ma'am introduced me, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, VSR sir. Thank you, Alka ma'am and the SMART team. I especially thank Dr. Sridhar for sparing time here for my session. So let us begin with the session. Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat. A nation's culture resides in the heart and in the soul of its people. Such are the words of Mahatma Gandhi. So Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister on 31st October 2015 on auspicious occasion of the 140th birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. A unique program was conceived by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The objectives of the Shreshta Bharat, Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, and those were the firstly, to celebrate the unity in diversity of India and strengthen and maintain the existing bond among the people of India. Secondly, to promote national integration through a structured engagement between all states and among all union territories as well. Third, to showcase the rich culture and heritage, tradition, customs of the state for enabling people to appreciate and understand India's diversity. So under this program, the states and the even union territories are paired with each other for a fixed time, and that's 1 year as our circular states. So the pair states and the union territories, they signed a memorandum under this understanding and started conducting various programs. So the pair states will carry on activities and mutual engagement in the sphere of literature, language, festivals, cuisine, tourism, and cultural events. For example, Punjab is paired with Andhra Pradesh for year 2021. During this year, few Telugu books would be translated into Punjabi. Some Punjabi books would be translated into Telugu. So this is how the cultural things will go on. Even the food fest they are organizing. This will happen all over the nation. And as you know, as per our circular, we are CBSE circular, we are paired with, Karnataka is paired with Uttarakhand. And under this program, why CBSE has adopted this program basically? Because school is a best platform for all these activities. Our students is our future. Through this particular program, there are various activities in these programs. These are full of fun and comfortable learning zones. So because of this, students are going to build, it will help them to build their social, emotional, and language skills. They can be an active member of our society and make India culturally vibrant and more tolerant. So that's why CBSE adopted this particular program, and they requested all of us to conduct all the activities in our schools. Ma'am, can I have a next PPT, please? So the circular number was 83 in 2021. Normally, we plan our academic calendar in the beginning of the academic year. But since this this circular came later, so we can update our calendar right now also. So there are a few things to remember before we conduct Shreshta Bharat activities in schools. So the points are, first and foremost thing, appointment of nodal teacher in charge in your school. Nodal teacher is a teacher, he or she is going to plan monthly as well as annual plan. Annual plan and monthly plan should ready with her or him. He can sit with the subject teacher and decide that. Then they can include these activities in an academic calendar. So in our school also we did that. The next important thing, organize.
I think there is a net issue from Niti ma'am's side. We'll be back contacting her. By that time, if we have any queries regarding Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat, either we can discuss among ourselves or we can put in the chat box. Do we have any queries, or some schools are doing something special in that we can share by the time Niti ma'am comes back? Would you like to share what your particular school is doing for Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat?
Ma'am, can I speak now?
Yeah, please.
My name is Bhuvaneshwari. I'm representing Sandana Vidyalaya from Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Hello?
Yes, Bhuvaneshwari ma'am, kindly go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
We are audible.
Actually, I have a doubt regarding the circular and then the portal that I visited. In the circular, there is no such kind of activities was listed after 22nd. But when I registered myself and my school code, there was another set of activities was listed, listing number from 22 to 30 numbers stating different activities. Should I have to select any one activities after 22, activity number 22 from that?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Niti ma'am just came back, so probably you may have to repeat your query. So Niti ma'am can answer that.
Hello.
Yeah, Niti ma'am, there is a query in between. We thought we'll have a query session. So Bhuvneshwari ma'am, kindly go ahead once again with your query.
Hello, Niti ma'am. My name
Yes.
is Bhuvaneshwari.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, I have a doubt. In the
Yes, ma'am.
circular, there is no such activities after 22nd, activity number 20 and 22nd.
Okay.
But when I register myself in the portal, there was
Yes.
some other list of set of activities also listed. So I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
selected one activity from the portal 26. 26 is plantation drive.
Yes, yes.
I was directed by some other school teacher. So I selected one activity from the portal. Is it necessary? Should I have to follow that from the portal? But it is not listed in the circular.
Ma'am, in the portal, there are certain activities. You can click on that and go ahead with it. If you have any other ideas, there is a other activity. It is written down at the end of
That's
all the
what.
activities. You can
Yes,
mention
ma'am.
over there. You can type it and you can add that. Once
Oh,
your action plan. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, it's not like you should compulsorily take one activity from the portal. It's not like that.
It's not like that, ma'am. You can have your own activity. You can
Okay,
have it.
circular. The activities in the circulars is enough.
Yes, yes. That is also enough. You can have your own activities also. Either.
I think
Anything.
the set of activities listed in the portal is an extra, or maybe on our wish we can select.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's
that's correct. You can just stick it over there.
okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem, ma'am. Ma'am, can I go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Sorry, we just asked for query in between.
No problem.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so organize at least 3 to 4 activities in a year. You can include those activities in your academic calendar. Normally, as a teacher, we have a lot of problems. Okay, how can I go ahead with my syllabus? My syllabus is also very important here. So what we did it, we including our, syllabus, we included these activities. So as I'm going to explain these activities, you will come to know how we did it. Ma'am, next slide, please. So, ma'am, before that, yeah, the schools, they have to maintain 2 types of report here, monthly report and the annual report. So monthly report, this is the responsibility of nodal teacher. So nodal teacher is going to prepare this. Monthly report, along with monthly report, you are supposed to maintain 2 photographs and 1 short video of each activity. And the nodal teacher is going to upload that online. So whatever the URL given over here, you can click on that and that will take you to the website. Once the website is open, you can fill all the details. At the end of the activities, I'm going to explain that as well. So you will understand. If not this URL, then you can go to the main website of our CBSE, cbse.gov.in, and you will get a website of Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat. You can upload there as well. It's the same. But for that, teachers need to keep affiliation number ready, school affiliation number and password. I think all the head of the institutions, they can provide you this affiliation number and password. Next slide, please. So these are the few activities we conducted in our school last year. Since last year, most of us, we had a online session. So these were the online activities we selected. We can do it even same thing offline as well. So under Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, our students took a pledge on national water conservation on that particular topic in Hindi and Urdu. But for primary, we selected Hindi and Urdu. But for the higher classes, for 6 to 8, we selected even other official languages like Pahari, Nepali, and even Urdu. Pahari, Nepali, now teachers will ask me, where will I get the information? Again, there is a URL and I'm going to share with you. You will get all the pledge, all sentences, proverbs over there. So it will help teachers to conduct these kind of activities. We are all not, we're not expert in all the languages. So that particular website will certainly help you to learn those new languages. So this is how we started with our first activity in a month of March. In a month of June. The next activity, please. The next slide, please. Yes. Under the subject science and EVS, we conducted this activity. This was an oral quiz. And our teacher, before conducting quiz, science teacher and EVS teacher, they were teaching about wildlife and vegetation. So under that topic, they spoke about Uttarakhand's and Karnataka's wildlife vegetation. Once they finished that, then they asked students to prepare questions on that. And the students asked questions to each other. So it was a different, normally teachers ask questions to the students, but here the students, the classmates asked each other, and that was a very different experience for students, and they enjoyed it a lot. And they maintain a record also. So which team won, which team got what kind of marks, etc. So this is how you can conduct oral quiz, and it will be a part of your, you can keep it as a part of assessment also. But if you're taking as an assessment, I'll request you to keep your parameters ready. So if you need a help in parameter, I can just share those parameters also with you. Next slide, please. Now this was again another activity which we did it with the middle school. During that time, we had online classes. So we asked our students to come on Saturdays, and our art teacher guided them with various things, how they can decorate boards. We are blessed with big boards in our school. So we selected those 2 boards, and different group of students, they researched on Uttarakhand and Karnataka's culture, climate, literacy rate, etc. And then they decorated this board. So this was about bulletin board display. So next slide, please. The other activity which we conducted under Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, and that was essay writing competition. Essay writing competition in all the languages, not just English, but all the languages like Kannada, Hindi, and Sanskrit. So our middle school and primary school, they participated in that, and the best essays were displayed on the display board as well as on the Google Classrooms. For online classes, we used Google Classroom. So we displayed all the best essays on those classes. So this is how we conducted the essay competition. This essay competition is already mentioned in the circular, so you can go ahead. But you, as a teacher, as a language teacher, you can select various topics. Next slide. So normally, a maths teacher struggle with these kind of programs. They feel that we do not have anything to do. But here, our maths teacher, they asked students to prepare pie chart or a graphical presentation on Uttarakhand's and Karnataka's most spoken languages. So most spoken languages in Karnataka, as you can see, it's obviously Kannada, and the least one is Konkani. And in Uttarakhand, it is Hindi, and the least one is Bengali. So this kind of pie chart they prepared. Again, the best one, we assess this part also. So teachers, if they are saying that we are wasting time, it's burden for us, it's not at all. Thank you, ma'am. Lalita ma'am, thank you so much for encouragement. It's a well done, written by ma'am. Thank you so much. So this is one of the activity done in a class. And normally maths teacher complain about that, but we found out a way to include them in this particular program. The next slide, please. Again, in Kannada language, that is in primary classes, we conducted this activity. That's poster making. Teacher, when she was teaching a particular author, she introduced this activity. She introduced famous poets and authors in Karnataka as well as in Uttarakhand. So, and the students made beautiful posters and then they uploaded on the Google Classroom. Again, we assess this activity. Since our parameters are ready, it is very easy for us to assess these activities. So same way other schools can go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Right, ma'am. So next PPT, please. Next slide, please. Right. For grade 6 to 10, we asked them to, make various PPTs on various topics of Uttarakhand and Karnataka. Alka ma'am, I need other PPT so I can share with them what
Of the students one, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Group
So-
7. It is written group 7.
Yeah. So should we stop sharing this or you want to finish
Yes.
this off and then we should go there?
No, ma'am. I want the other PPT so I can
Okay.
finish that and go ahead.
Sure, ma'am. We'll stop sharing this and we'll share the PPT of group 7.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We'll do so. We'll do so.
So under this was an interdisciplinary activity actually. We asked all our subject teachers to come together and brainstorm on the same thing, and then we divided our students into several groups. Now normally in our school it is 30 to 36 students are there, so 6 to 7 groups we had, and then we asked all our students to prepare different slides on different topics. I think all of you can see the first PPT. It is very clearly shown that, yes, that this is the one. It is prepared by grade 10. This was group 7 and several members were there. So the first one was collator. He collate entire thing, all the slides from all the students, and he made that PPT. He was the one who presented that PPT also. So he, according to that, we graded them. The next people or the next members, they prepared their slides according to subject. So you can see Samarth Rao, he prepared maths, then Rishi, he prepared English, and so on. Ma'am, next PPT, please. My next slide, please. Yeah, next one. Yeah, under science topic, they selected biotics and abiotic resources in Karnataka and Uttarakhand. So under science topic, we are teaching all those things, right? So it was not at all out of our syllabus. It was, that is what we were teaching, right? So next slide, ma'am. Next one. So those three slides were regarding science. The next one. So again, they compared between biotic resources in Uttarakhand and Karnataka. Next one. Yeah, under subject English, English teacher asked them to find out or research on wedding in Karnataka and then rituals in Uttarakhand also. So that was a very interesting thing. They found out what rituals were there in Uttarakhand. All of us, we are aware about Karnataka rituals, even the students are aware, but Uttarakhand, it was quite different and they were interested in that. Ma'am, next slide, please. Right, so Uttarakhand rituals, wedding rituals. They found out what jewelry were, what jewelry was really important, what the traditional jewelries, etc. So that was really interesting. Even teachers, they found it very interesting. Next slide, ma'am. Next one. Yeah, under social science, We asked them to prepare about, Karnataka and Uttarakhand's government, the problem faced by these government, because a lot of things were going on during that time in Karnataka. So we asked them to do so, and they compared between the government, what kind of political party is there, how they are ruling, who is more impactful, who is not doing the work, what are the people's demand over there, etc. Ma'am, next slide, please. So this was about Karnataka. Next slide, please, ma'am. This was about Uttarakhand. Right. Then again, maths. Okay, Kannada, they, ma'am, go to Kannada slide, please. So Kannada, the teachers asked them to find out about cuisine, the different cuisines of Karnataka and Uttarakhand. So next slide, you can see the different pictures. Here they had a difficulty because they could not type it in Kannada and other language, so they just scanned it and they put it over here in the PPT. Next slide. Right. So this was a project given it to them. This was a topic given it to them. Next slide, ma'am. Right. So this was regarding math. Again, under math, they found out how many children are vaccinated in Uttarakhand and Karnataka. So this was done, and the representation was in a bar graph. Through bar graph, they did it. Ma'am, next slide. So that was also very interesting. This was done by grade 10 students. After that, they gave us a summary. And through this summary, the teachers, on that basis, the teachers assess them. So we again had our parameters ready and we assess them on these basis. It was a group activity. The collator regularly used to take a meeting with rest of the members, and rest of the members used to ask him whatever the queries used to be, and they used to provide the slides to him. And then this is how he collated finally and presented in the online class. So even though it was an online class, we didn't find it's a barrier or anything. It was a quite interesting way for us to assess also. And it was a quite interesting way for students also to present. Ma'am, thank you. Ma'am, kindly go to the first PPT. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So this was done by grade 6 onward. And whatever I shared, that was from grade 10. Right, ma'am. Ma'am, next PPT, please. Right. So this year, last year, the pledge activity was mandatory for all the schools. This year, the mandatory activity is exposure of students to the alphabet, songs, proverbs, unique words in the language of the pair state. So now from where the teachers are going to get this information? This is a URL provided by CBSE. So once you click on that, it will take you to that particular website, and the sentences, proverbs, everything is available over there in different languages. In different 23 languages it is available. In case of Karnataka, we are paired with Uttarakhand, so we can select Punjabi, we can select Pahadi, Urdu, Hindi, even Nepali. So teachers can teach a student one letter per day, or in primary classes, or one sentence per day. Ma'am, I want to show them this particular website. It is open. Can I share?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Mm. Right. I think I'm sharing that, ma'am. I think everything is visible. This particular website is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible, tourism.gov.in.
Yeah. So we can see here the title Aaj ka Vakya. So our students, our teachers, particularly, they selected few of the sentence and they are teaching them every day. So if you take 3 to 4 sentences monthly also, they're learning a lot of sentences at the end of the academic year. Same way, the proverbs, the songs, everything is available. We can just share. One more video I like to share with you here. It was done by our grade 5 student, and she is singing and dancing on the Pahadi song. This singing and dancing, a teacher taught her to entire class actually, and video was prepared by parent and sent it to us, and we are assessing that activity as well. So, ma'am, I'll just share that with
Sure, ma'am.
them. It will take a time. Just
Should we share from this side?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem.
I
Please.
don't know. I'm finding it difficult.
No worries, ma'am. Please stop sharing. We will share from this side.
Yes, ma'am. This particular video, our dance teacher gave them steps, and the Kannada teacher and the music teacher helped them to sing a song.
ठंडो रे ठंडो मेरी पहाड़े की हवा ठंडी ठंडो रे ठंडो मेरी पहाड़े की हवा ठंडी पानी ठंडो हो I chiu hima tando tando I chiu hima tando tando Nisu Gangaji ko chalu tando tando Nisu Gangaji ko chalu tando tando I chiu hima tando tando Nisu Gangaji ko chalu tando tando Payanchana chanya pandaro Payanchana chanya pandaro Chana bugyal dal daru Chana bugyal dal daru Payanchana chanya pandar Chana bugyal dal daru Rola bag bon undya tando tando Thando re thando मेरी पहाड़े की हवा ठंडी ठंडो रे ठंडो मेरी पहाड़े की हवा ठंडी पानी ठंडो हो आ हो
Right. Ma'am, PPT, please. So this was done by grade 5 students. Even they prepared a Kannada song, and then both the things we presented on Google Classrooms. Okay, other activities. I can share with you that talk show. Thank you, ma'am. Saraswati, ma'am, thank you so much. Talk by student as well as teachers on the different subjects like current affair and all. This year we are planning for a talk show. For that reason, we asked our students to see DD Uttarakhand, and they are going to find out few current affairs from there as well as the historical events, and we are going to club that, and we are going to have a talk show from grade 6 to 7. So grade 6 to 7 students are going to have that talk show. Now, again, we can assess this if the parameters are ready. So again, another thing, now not just the core subjects or the languages, but we can include our PE teachers and art teachers also. So how we can include them? The introduction of indigenous sports of Uttarakhand. Now, as we know, Kho-Kho and Kabaddi, these are the indigenous sports in Karnataka as well, but there are specific indigenous sports like Wagh Bakri, Gilli Danda, all those sports we are going to introduce in our PE classes. So the PE teacher is also involved. He or she can assess those if the parameters are ready. So again, along with the indigenous sports, the PE teacher is going to introduce even the adventurous games or the adventurous sports, because Uttarakhand is known for that. Uttarakhand is famous for that, and many of the the adventure tourism is increasing over there day by day. So he or she is going to introduce adventure games over here like trekking, river rafting, paragliding, etc. So he can teacher can prepare a slide and talk about that, or he can show a video and talk about that. So this is how the introduction of adventure game will happen. We cannot certainly do the assessment over here, but this is a fun way to introduce it. The next thing, again, how to include our art teachers here. So art teacher is, she can plan for a jewelry making classes, and she can assess this also. So he or she can research. Our teacher researched, and she told me that, okay, ma'am, we can go for a traditional jewelry here. So the traditional important jewelry for Uttarakhand women, it is a nut. It's huge, and there are beads around that. So our students are going to prepare those jewelry in art class with the beads and papers. So this is a plan for this year. And if it is possible, we are going to include even Karnataka's traditional jewelry. So one group is going to make that jewelry, and the other group will make Uttarakhand's jewelry. And we are going to ask them to compare, as well as we are going to display those on the bulletin boards, and we are going to display those on the Google Classroom also, the pictures of it. The next thing, under the water conservation, again, this water conservation, we are teaching them in social science and EVS also. So it is easy for teachers to talk when they finish this particular chapter. So what are the best practices in Uttarakhand? When we did this activity in our school, by our surprise, we got lots of best practices in Uttarakhand. Kul and Gul, these are the very old practices which Uttarakhand people are following for ages together, and our students presented that in a class. So even that was a very fascinating, and students were quite amazed by rest of the students were quite amazed by that. The next thing, plantation, as earlier ma'am also told me that it's there already in the circular as well as in the action plan. So you can select this. During our environment day, we can literally go for it, and then we can ask our students to tag the plants with the in different languages, in Kannada, in Pahadi language, in Nepali, and then in various languages, which are Uttarakhand's official languages. Ma'am, next slide, please. Yeah, natural disaster projects. Now, this is not mentioned in the circular certainly, but in grade 9 and 10, social science teachers, they are certainly giving these projects, and CBSE made it mandatory for us to do it in SST. So what we plan this year, along with the Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, we are going to do this project. Like Uttarakhand and Karnataka, both the state faced a lot of natural calamities, natural disaster. So we'll ask our students to make a list of it. Along with that list, they are going to prepare a preventive and preventive measures for that, and they are going to present that in a class. So this is how we are going to bring our SER activity also, and we are going to finish our Ek Bharat and Shreshta Bharat activity here, and we can assess that as we already know. Then in English, we are planning for Pen Pal and ePen Pal because we are tied up with one of the Uttarakhand school. We are really fortunate that principal sir gave us permission, and we are going to have a cultural exchange program also, and ePen Pal and Pen Pal program also. In this program, we are planning to send different letters and email. Students are going to send these emails and letters to Uttarakhand students from that particular school, and the same way they are going to send our students. So it will be a cultural exchange. It will be a idea exchange also. Same way with a telephonic conversation with the same school. We are going to ask our students to talk through telephone as well as online. So it will be a big platform for our students and their students to exchange their ideas, cultural ideas, and other ideas also. Now, how to engage our parents? Now, it's a very interesting thing because normally we don't pay attention towards that, but we can certainly, through Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, we can engage our parents. In our school, it's a mixed bag. So parents are there from different states of India, and there are 3 of our parents who are from Uttarakhand. So we are planning to keep a session, and the parents are going to dress up in a traditional costume of Uttarakhand, and they're going to talk to students in the auditorium. The presentation will happen from by parents, and they're going to talk about cuisine, Uttarakhand's cuisine, and values and culture. So this is how we are engaging our parents also. Then the last thing, again, it is mentioned in the circular, that is Ebsb Club. Again, nodal teacher is responsible for that. Saturdays we can use, since Saturdays we have half day school. Most of the schools, they give half day. So we can do this activity, or the Ebsb clubs can run on Saturdays. So it is again nodal teacher's responsibility, but nodal teacher can certainly take a help from other subject teachers. Ma'am, I think the next slide. Right. So now the last part of this particular program, how to upload the things, where to upload, how to upload, and again, you are going to upload those photographs, activity reports, and videos on your social media. Now, most of these schools, they have their own Facebook, Instagram page, etc. So they can certainly post those activities along with hashtag CBSE EBSB. So whenever anybody search in a Google, so your activities are going to pop up over there. So this was the last part. And I'll share that website now, how to upload things and all. Thank you.
Niti ma'am,
Yes,
we'll just take a pause here. Sorry to interrupt you.
no problem.
We'll just take a small pause here and we'll come back to the sharing part,
Yes.
how we have to upload, right?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
So since our eminent guest,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sridhar is having another engagement also. So we'll just request him to enlighten us with his wisdom, experience and everything. And we will come back to you a little later after we listen to him. I know all of us are eagerly waiting to
Certainly, ma'am.
have the wise words for all of us. So before I hand it over to Sridhar sir, I would request Venu sir to formally introduce him. Though we all know him very well and the work he has done in the education sector, he needs no introduction. But still, I'll request Venu sir to introduce him.
Namaste, Dr. Sridhar sir.
Hello, good evening, Venu sir.
Good evening and welcome to this August gathering.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
So I definitely take this privilege to introduce Dr. Sridhar, who is an exemplar personality. He is an IITian himself. He has done his PhD in fluid mechanics, and he is the founder director for AS Creative Learning, under which we have a very well-known group of institutions called Diksha Group of Institutions. And the portals of Diksha have seen more than 60,000 plus technocrats and, of course, medical fraternity, and who have actually been molded to think, not just perform. So hats off to Dr. Sridhar and group, where they have sculpted more than 60,000 plus engineers and doctors, enabling the technological world and the medical fraternity at the same time. So one without the other has no meaning. So both are required, and I really congratulate the entire group for that. And today, when we requested Dr. Sridhar sir to give his address, he has given his consent, and we are really thankful to Sridhar sir. And I request Sridhar sir to address the gathering with his few noble words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Venu sir. You've been most kind. I'm audible. You can hear me now clearly,
Yes, sir,
no
yes,
problem.
Very clear, sir.
You've been most kind in front of all the August principals over here. I'm not a formal educationalist. I'm a serendipitous educationalist. I wanted to be a teacher. So after doing my PhD, came back to become a teacher, and then incidentally ended up being an administrator and doing what I'm doing. Always grateful for the humongous support that's come from all different directions to make Diksha happen and make Diksha what it is today. And very happy to share our ideas and thoughts and to see how we can all work and contribute to building up a better education system. And I think at this time, particularly at this juncture, COVID notwithstanding, once NEP has come in, I think we are in a very momentous time right now in the Indian education journey itself. We've been having a very standard system for the last 200 years. I think after Sir Macaulay set it up, not much has changed in the way we have been transferring knowledge and information to children. And the NEP has opened up the window saying that here is an opportunity for you all to relook at the education pedagogy that we are having and get our children ready for the next century, the next future which is there. It's a very different future, and I think we are at a very critical time in determining how our country goes forward in getting our children ready for that future. So I'll just share a little PPT. I'm very excited. All of you all are the right people to bring about that change, to make those transformations. Let me see if I can share a brief PPT also. Share screen. Yep, I guess my presentation is up. So the topic of the talk, brief talk that I'm going to have, just sharing some thoughts, some ideas. Honestly, there's not much gyan I can give you all. You all are experienced always in your own domain. But there's some of my learnings and experiences, seeing what's happening around in the world and sharing some of those thoughts with you all. So I made the topic of this talk, need for change. And feel free if you all want to chip in, raise your hand, ask questions, join in the conversation. It's just some thoughts that I have as to what I feel is the need of the hour for Indian education system. First of all, why do we think we need a change? Yeah, I've been working mainly with 11th and 12th standard children. I've been seeing children going through school, my own children and neighbors' children going through the school system. So I've been seeing how our education system has been structured. And proud to say when I was in the US, whichever university I went to, whichever department I went to, if you look at the top 10 children in the classroom, 3 or 4 would be Indians, either Indians from India who've come there or Indians who have been born and brought up in the US. Indians and Chinese would dominate any examination that was there. Our children were very well prepared to sit and crack exams. We've done that very, very well. So much so, if I look at what we've done with our children, and I look at the 11th and 12th space also, our whole system is we train our children to listen to instructions. We are the fountains of knowledge. We are giving our knowledge to the child, and our constant refrain is, listen to me, I'm now doing my job of transferring my knowledge to you. After listening to instruction, the next job is to memorize. There's some information given to you, go and read it, write a homework, write an assignment, write it a second time, learn it, memorize it, so that you internalize and memorize that instruction or those bits of information that we're given to you all. And then we assess them on it. So we make them repeat the instruction, practice the instruction, and then we assess them in the examination. Have you got those bits of information right or wrong? Have you internalized, memorized, and mastered that information that I've given to you? And generally the refrain is, I've got so much to convey to you, so much to transfer to you, so much knowledge to give to you. Listen, take it from me, learn it quickly, and go on. The whole idea of questioning, debating, going off in a tangent. I'm teaching something with electricity, and a child asks me a question with electricity, with rain, with environment, and it goes off in a tangent. We never allow those discussions to happen, because I have my curriculum to finish. I have to finish electricity, I have to finish Ohm's law, I have to finish this particular information. So a child goes off in a tangent. We say, hey, don't question why. Come back, this is what we have to teach, this is what is necessary for you. And the whole focus is, I have information to convey. I will convey that information. I have a syllabus to complete. I will complete that syllabus. And I will make sure you have memorized the information that I have in my book so that you can pass the exam and you'll be graded as knowledgeable. This is how, by and large, schooling, high school, definitely 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, when board exam comes, this is how the whole thing is oriented. Junior classes, there's more flexibility, more playway, more fun. But by and large, this is how our system is being created. And it's great. It had a purpose. This system was created during the second industrial revolution. After the steam engine, you had the IC engine, you had the factories, you had the mass production. And in order to man the factories, you needed people who would come, listen to instructions, obey the instructions, follow the instructions. Every day, the person's job is to screw the nuts on the tires of the car that's being manufactured. He will sit and screw the nuts on the tires of the car. His job was to sit and do that repetitive task over and over and not to question why, which is why our education system created such people. Don't question why. I'm telling you what to do. Do it, earn your money, and go. And that was the second industrial revolution that was there. Then we had the third industrial revolution, which was your information revolution. The internet came, your computers became smart, your phones came along, and the information revolution was your third revolution that was over there. And then we're in the midst of our fourth revolution now. And the fourth revolution is about artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. We keep hearing of smart cars that drive themselves. Who could have imagined 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that there would be a time when cars would drive themselves on the roads? Absolutely unimaginable, unheard of. But that's happening now. It's a reality now. In many cities, cars are now driving themselves. The testing phase is over. It's already in the implementation phase. Another 5 years from now, it'll be a reality in most countries. Self-driving cars. You have all your Amazon warehouses. If you go look at how are your items packed in an Amazon warehouse, it's a massive facility, which is like 10 cricket fields put together facility, indoor facility, which has around 1,000 or 2,000 robots just going around, traveling around, picking up the items and putting in the boxes, packaging them and sending them up. You don't have human intervention anymore. It is machines which are doing it, and they're smart. They're learning on the job. There's a problem. When robo breaks down, the next robo says, okay, he's not able to do it. I will take over the job for him, and it learns and it navigates around him and it goes on. So the present revolution that's happening is the fourth industrial revolution. And in this context is where I would say the present education system, the way we are running it, the way we are comfortable doing it, this is how I studied, this is how I will teach my child. My teacher came to class and told me something, I learned it, I memorized it, I wrote a test and proved I knew it. This is what I've been used to doing. I'm very comfortable doing it to my next generation. It's a choice we have. Or we say, hey, let's really think, is this the right thing that we should be doing for our children? Now, why is this fourth revolution so critical, so important? So I'm going to share some facts with you all on the nature of the workplace, which is over there. 50% of the current activities that are being done are currently adapting themselves to newer technology. And most of them are becoming technically automatable. I was telling the example of the self-driving car or the robots in the Amazon go down. These are only some examples. In every domain, every sphere, AI is coming over and taking over mundane jobs that we used to do. The classic example is the call center. So you had a massive industry in India, which was your call centers, all the banks, all the credit cards, all the services that were offered. Indian operators would pick up the phone and keep answering questions that came from people. Now those operators are being replaced by computers, which will talk to you like a human being. It'll recognize your voice. It'll recognize your emotion. Are you angry? Are you happy? Are you sad? It'll respond accordingly, and it'll adapt itself, its responses based on your communication. It's already in a stage where in the IBM supercomputer, Watson and others, they're able to have a conversation between the computer and the human being very comfortably. You'll not even know who's talking to you. And it's a matter of a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, this entire call center business will be gone. The computer will be answering all your queries. Only for an exception, you'll go to a human being. Otherwise, you'll be talking to a machine and not realizing you're talking to a machine. That is the extent to which the penetration is happening of technology in the workplace. So what does it mean? Jobs that we have, that we take for granted, will steadily start disappearing. Now, in my father's generation, that generation, my father was an engineer. He remained an engineer all through his life. He joined one company. After 5 years, he changed to a second company in the same field. He was a chemical engineer. He remained a chemical engineer and spent out the next 30 years working in the industry and retired. That was in my father's generation. My generation, and 5-7 years younger than me, that generation, there was one change in careers that happened. People were an engineer, you graduated as an engineer, worked for 4-5 years, and decided to do an MBA, and you changed your career. You went into marketing, you went into finance, you went into HR, you went to a different direction. You changed your domain, changed your career. It was a choice we made because of better prospects. If I did an MBA, I would get a better job, better salary, and I chose to change my job. My generation, we chose and changed our jobs once. You can see the data over there. The children who are studying with you now, when they come out and they graduate, they become engineers, doctors, lawyers, or whatever it is. Simply because jobs will keep disappearing. At the very least, it is expected that the child of tomorrow will change his job at least 3 times in their lifetime, change the whole nature of their job. I may be an accountant and I'll have to become a coder. I may be a coder, I may become a service engineer. You know, my nature of my job itself will completely change, not because I choose to, but simply because the job I had is gone. I was doing a particular job, that job disappeared. And I have to now do a different job. And if I have to do a different job, the skill that are needed by our children is the ability to quickly unlearn what they had, learn something new, and very importantly, think for themselves and start figuring it out for themselves. We spoon feed our children a lot. Yeah, we grind everything, we make it as a ready-made paste and we give it to them because we want them to get more marks. We spoon feed them more and more and more, and we make them get marks. But along the way, as we keep spoon feeding them more and more and more, they are not used to an uncertain world where there is no answer. They are currently living in a world where every question has an answer. They only have to memorize the answer and put it out. They are not exposed to a situation where the question doesn't have an answer. It's open-ended. Yeah? There are no such experiences for the child as he goes through our education system. Whereas in real life, he's going to be working, one day the job is gone and there's nothing in front of him. It's a very frightening experience at that point in your life if you're not used to suddenly facing the unknown. And in order to prepare our children to face that unknown, They have to have the ability to learn by themselves, think by themselves, figure out by themselves, and get ready to see new things by themselves. That we'll have to integrate into our education system to give them that exposure, that experience, and that skill they should develop. This is fact number one. Fact number two, which really struck me a lot when I was in the US for close to 10 years over there, there's a dramatic difference between the American child in the school and the Indian child in the school. Very big fundamental difference. And I feel that difference is what manifests itself in some data, which is the creativity or the ability of a country to invent, innovate, and to make patterns. So there's a nice video which is on YouTube on country-wise patterns across the year. Let me see if I can click on it and play it. It'll be a very, very nice, interesting, telling video. It plots the number. Yes, it's actually playing. Okay, good. Let's see if I can skip the ad. Yeah. I'll not have the audio. I'll just show the video. The graphics is very interesting. So this is now showing the patterns across countries across the world. This is in 1982. Leading everyone was Japan. Japan had, just a minute, over 2 lakh patents was in Japan. Russia was next is 1.5 lakh patents. US was 1 lakh. India is not on the list at all. This is in 1982. Yeah, 89 is when I went to the US. So Japan was the more creative country at that time. If I now continue on with the timeline, go forward a few years, come to 1986, it is still Japan, USSR, and USA. You go to 1992. Now USA slowly starting to catch up. It overtook. That is when the Soviet Union broke up, and then USSR was gone. It was replaced by Russia. Russia was just starting to reinvent itself and coming up. You had Japan leading and USA. The late 1990s and 2000s, USA started catching up with Japan. If you go to 1999, 2000, Japan is kind of static at 4 lakhs, but USA is rapidly building up and going forward. I go up 5-6 years ahead over there. If I come to 2006, 2006, 2007, USA has already caught up with Japan. Japan did not move too much. USA is very creative, a lot of patterns, a lot of innovations happening in 2006. This is when all of your information boom happened. All your Facebooks and social media, all of that explosion happened. A lot of patterns were created. But then coming up along it was China. China, which was not in the reckoning, came up to 1.97 lakhs, half of USA by 2006, but they were now starting to wake up. India is on the radar. India is at 27,000, much, much, much lesser than China, USA, or Japan. If you continue on with the video, 2006 becoming 2007, 2008, USA overtook Japan. But Japan is kind of stagnating over there. China is now starting to pick up. China is now accelerating, going faster. USA is staying at 4. China is ramping along. India is there, 25, 35, 40,000. We are in the tens of thousands. China is in the 3 lakhs, USA in the 4 lakhs. This is 2009, 2010. If I now jump forward a few more years, 2013, China has overtaken USA also. From 4 lakhs, USA went to 5 lakhs. Japan is almost stagnant at 3 lakhs. China has gone to 7 lakhs. India is at 43,000, still not got past the tens of thousands. And now China just races ahead from 2013 onwards. You just see the bar is just rapidly expanding. China's gone to 10 lakhs. The USA is at 5 lakhs. Japan is stagnant at 3 lakhs. China is just dominating the world in patents and new products, innovations, and creations. And if I go on till 2019, and I stop at 17, 18, 19, China is at 13 million or 13 lakhs, 13 lakhs, USA is at 6 lakhs, Japan is at 3 lakhs, India is still at 45,000. And this is something that bugged me a lot. Why is it Indian kids are number 1 in the exams? If I go to any university, look at the top children are Indians. Indian kids do very well when it comes to exams. Yeah, we dominate. You go to the American spelling bee competition, last 13 years, the rank one has been Indians. And not only rank one, 2, 3 has been Indian children. Yeah, we are dominating it when it comes to exams or tests. When it comes to creativity and patterns, they are nowhere in the picture. And the answer was very simply in the culture, in the home, and in the schools. While we focused exclusively on training our children to learn facts from a book and memorize a book and to master a book, the American system, the European system, and I'm assuming the Chinese system as well, paid a lot of emphasis on encouraging children to work with their hands, play with their hands, open things with their hands, make with their hands, break with their hands. Yeah, it was very interesting. In my second year of my graduate studies, I rented an apartment from my American friend who was an undergraduate student. He was doing a second year of mechanical engineering and he had a house. I rented the house and I went to his house one day and his name was Ned. And I said, "Hey, Ned, where are you?" And he said, "Hey, Shri, I'm here. Come on, meet me." And I hear a voice coming from far away. And so I walk to the backyard and I don't find him around, but I see his car over there. So I call out for him and say, "Hey, Ned, where are you?" And the 16-year-old kid rolls out from under the car and he's taken his car and taken it apart. He's taken apart the wheels, the transmission, the suspension. He's taken apart his whole car. He's under the car, tinkering with it, fooling around with it, changing stuff with it, and having a ball with his car. Unimaginable for me. I'm a BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Kharagpur, one of the leading colleges, PhD in mechanical engineering. I don't know how to change the tire of my car. And the 16-year-old kid has already figured out how to take his car apart. And that for me was a stark example of the difference in our education system and the culture at home as well. In my house, I got a new toy. The first instruction is be careful, do not break the toy. And so we put it in plastic wrap and put it neatly over there. We carefully play with it and we keep it back in its place. We took good care of it, but I never took it apart. I never broke it. I never took it to pieces and put it back together again. That's not something that we do. And that in turn deeply affects our country's ability to be inventors, creators, and to get our names on those patents. It's very embarrassing. We have 1.3 billion population over here, and we have 46,000 patents which is there. In Japan, 3 lakhs has been stagnant for a long time, but it's a very small country, and they just dominate us. And China, with the same size of us, is just racing ahead. 13 lakhs versus 40,000. They are like 8-10 times more than us. Really a cause for concern that this is something we should get our children ready for. So Indian children excel in exams, but they're woefully unprepared in innovation and making new products. And making new products, I'm not saying that I have to build with their hands. You can be coding a new product as well. It's just the whole thought process of, here is a problem without a solution. Think outside the box and make a solution. That kind of a training or an education is never given to our children. So the skill needed is ability to work with their hands, innovate, to build, to make products, new products, to make new solutions. We need to give them that flavor, that taste. And trust me, when they do it and they get hooked onto it, they will continue through life to be innovators. And the last fact over here, very interestingly, COVID made us all work from home. COVID now is more or less assumed to be gone in many parts of the world, though I don't think it is. And people are coming back to the workplace. But a surprising finding is a large fraction of people are opting not to come into the workplace. They prefer to still work flexibly, work from home, do multiple jobs. They're calling it the gig economy. Yeah, a person may be doing 2-3 jobs, do part-time, do this, rather than go join one company and work in one place. And as you do that, as you become an employee of the gig economy, you are working with multiple people spread all over the world. You may be doing something in India, you're coordinating with someone else who's in Japan or in the US, it's getting manufactured in China, and the product is finally being used in Taiwan. We don't know where all it's going. You are necessarily working in a very highly integrated and interdisciplinary system. And to enable our children to thrive in such a system, we need to make sure they're able to exchange information, exchange their meanings and purposes with their various groups, which means we need to build communication, teamwork within them. And again, very unfortunately, with our system so focused on exams, 12th board exams, then you have the JEE or the NEET or the CA or the CLAT exam, the whole focus being on exams. In many places from 9th standard, children stop doing all these extracurricular activities that build communication, elocution, debating, all. English as a language itself is given a second priority, and these extracurricular activities take a backseat as children come to high school. The whole focus is on math, physics, chemistry, biology to get marks in the examinations. And many of our children who go to colleges, engineering colleges, again, are great at writing answers on a paper, terrible at communicating what they want to do. Communication as a skill is not being developed in our children. I feel that way Karnataka is far superior to a lot of the other states. There's still a very good program of extracurricular activities that go on in many of our schools. But in many other states that I see, from 6th standard, everything stops and they're just focusing on math and science. So if I just want to summarize, simply knowing facts is not sufficient, which is what our focus of our education system was, to get you to learn facts. Why is it not sufficient? Because all facts are now available on your mobile phone. Earlier, you knew something, you were the sage, you were the wise person, people had to come to you for getting that information. Now that information is available to everyone on their mobile phone. So just because you have information doesn't make you particularly relevant or useful. Second, simply being strong in math and science is not sufficient. You also need to be able to communicate, to be able to tell your ideas across, to convince a group of people to be able to take your idea to the next stage, if you want to be able to put your math and science to good use. So communication is very, very important. And lastly, just scoring good marks in exams alone, theory exams alone, is not sufficient. You need to be able to build, to create, to innovate, and to get answers for questions that don't have an answer. We call open-ended questions. The question, I have a problem, solve the problem. There is no solution. You have to figure out and make that solution. You have to train your children to get that thought process. And the good news is NEP encourages all of this. I was just hearing in one of the meetings that I had today that the NEP and the Chief Minister of Karnataka is very particular that the research spirit, the research mentality of inquiry and looking at a problem and looking for a solution needs to be encouraged from our school level, not only at the university level. And I think that's the right step. We need to encourage our children to be looking at open-ended questions. So what do I think are the important skills needed for the future? I would say the 4 C's of the future. Critical thinking and problem solving. You need to be able to give enough occasions for children to start thinking out of the box and getting solutions. Second, creativity and building. Give them opportunities to make, break, build, and put things together. It can be physical, it can be coding, it can be logical, but the idea is to build and get a solution. They need to be able to communicate and collaborate. The 3rd C, communication and collaboration. And the last C, I would say, is content and information. This is where we've been focusing all these years. It's important. I'm not saying you need not know the data and the facts. You need to know facts and data. But along with that, there are many more very critically important things that you need to develop in our child. And yes, if I ask you, are you all doing this? All of you all will say, yes, sir, we are doing this. We have communication opportunities. We have workshops where children build something for their annual day, or they build a project for environmental day. We give them a problem to solve or a project to solve, and they think and they come up with solutions. We do a tick in the box exercise of giving them a sample of all of these. Yeah, but just giving them a sample doesn't make them get that skill. You will get that skill when you repeatedly give them that opportunity to do it over and over and over and over again. That is when they build up that skill in that field. Classic example would be yoga. All schools over here do yoga proudly. Yes, sir, I do yoga for my children as well. Great. How much yoga do you do? 1 class a week is the yoga that you will do. Because of the 1 class a week, after 3 years, the child master yoga, is able to use yoga to change his health and make himself a healthier person? The answer is no. The child comes as at 1 yoga period of the week. He knows about yoga. It's there in his mind. Has he benefited from yoga? No. Unless he does yoga every day half an hour in the morning. It becomes part of your curriculum that every morning half an hour every child will do yoga. If you do that, the child benefits from yoga. Otherwise, it's an intellectual exercise where the child learns what is yoga. Likewise, a lot of the activities that we do, tells a child what is critical thinking, but doesn't give him enough experience to exposure to get the skill of critical thinking. Tells him what is to communicate. He will have one debate competition of the year and say, become a communicator. It doesn't happen that way. He needs to practice and practice and practice and practice through the year to become an effective communicator. So these 4 C's are there. All of us know about it, but are we doing enough about it? So again, just some of my thoughts about it. How do we build these skills in our children? I believe STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM education, I believe, is the key and the future for our children. And STEM education doesn't mean teach them more mathematics to pass more JEE examinations. It's a very fundamentally different approach to how you want children to access information, acquire information, understand information, utilize information, and develop something new with that information. That is the whole philosophy behind STEM education. You have science, technology, engineering, math as the pillars, but the approach is how you give the opportunity for the child to build up the different C's that I had mentioned earlier. You can get a lot of information on STEM education if you Google it now. On 15 years ago, it started becoming popular. Last 10 years, it's really taken off in a very big way all over the US and Europe. I'm assuming China is doing it in a very big way. I don't know what happens in China. Definitely, I think it's something all of y'all as educators should read up, learn up more, and understand why it is being promoted and doing so well. How can schools improve STEM education? A very simple way is relate science to students' daily lives, employ much more hands-on tasks and group activities, as opposed to sitting in the classroom and receiving information from a teacher. Get them to work with their hands, interact with each other. Some will be successful, some will break, some will make. There's a learning which happens through all of that. Use different learning activities, not just chalk and talk in a video. Get various mechanisms for them to learn the subject. Along the way, train them to build up the confidence to learn by themselves. That's a very, very important skill we need to give to our children. I can't spoon feed you all the time. I need to, like they say, not teach a man to fish rather than feed him a fish every time. Likewise, teach a child to learn rather than teaching the facts. The child will then become a lifelong learner on his own. And have various mechanisms inside to add novelty, to have student decision making in the classroom, all of which it brings about collaboration, communication amongst the children over there. If you want more details, exactly STEM program and STEM education, what it's done, in addition to the usual math, science, socials, in addition,
Yeah, so we'll be back. Yeah, sir is back. So kindly unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Thank you. I didn't realize my phone fell down. When I caught it, I had pressed the mute button. Sorry about that.
No, sir.
Yes. So as I was saying, in addition to the usual math, science, social science, in the STEM program, you redesign the pedagogy to introduce a new style of learning, which is called learning by design. In learning by design, you have STEM labs where you have various equipment items available, which can be mechanical items like gears, pulleys, levers, fulcrums, etc. You can have electronic items like breadboards, ICs, chips, programmable boards, or you can have coding-based items where you have software to develop Android device, Android applications codes. These are what we call STEM labs. You'll have various STEM labs, and you have the curriculum where children will go to the STEM labs, not like the physics lab that we do in 11th and 12th. The physics lab in 11th and 12th is again a tick in the box. I have to do an experiment on acceleration due to gravity. My answer should be 9.8. I have given you the objective, the procedure, the process, the table. From my senior batch, I also got the numbers I should get in my table. I should simply go through the motions of pretending to do it, fill in the numbers, get the answer, show 9.8 and go to the lab. It's absolutely a tick in the box where the child doesn't do anything by themselves. In the STEM lab, you have an objective, you want a problem to be solved, and the child now goes and figures out how he or she wants to do it. There's no procedure, there is no statement as to how you want to do it. There is definitely no table that they have to fill up. You basically sit and work on your own and to get solutions and collaborate, talk to your teacher, read up on your own, learn things, work, start learning on your own to sit and get solutions which are there. Another very nice method of learning is project-based learning. where typically it's for multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary topics that are there. We've done projects in all schools. Typically, we do projects through the year. Very often projects are done, given, and especially in grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the mom or the dad sits through the night, prepares that chart, beautiful chart, prepares a beautiful model, and the child proudly carries it to the class and keeps it in the class. That's typically what happens in the junior classes. Senior classes, projects are there. Children are very reluctant. They curse us for giving them projects, saying, why you give us the useless work to do? But they will do it. Typically, they will Google it, pick up Wikipedia, pick up 5 sources, cut and paste, and put a report and submit it. So we do projects currently. It is not living up to its full potential. The whole idea of doing project-based learning would be to have projects wherein you are having the children in front of you, you have a mentor working with the child, and you're working on them, collaborating together, discussing together, coming up with ideas together. You are basically being the coach to them as you help them build up these soft skills of working, collaborating, and completing a project which is assigned. And the idea being that when you go into the real life, you will have projects like this to do with a group of people. How do I work with a group and get my job done? So project-based learning is also a very useful tool that is there in order to build up STEM skills. And your topics can be a variety of topics that are there. But along with all of this, definitely there should be a strong focus on sports, literary arts, cultural, because these all build up the communication abilities within our children, the empathy within our children, and the connectivity between our children, the country, and society. So all of these have been put together, a challenging task. How can a school adopt a STEM program? Again, I would strongly suggest all of you all should read up more about it, do R&D about it. What is the STEM all about? This is honestly a revolution that is going on in the West. India has not yet got onto that revolution. Once you are convinced that, hey, this is something interesting, please identify teachers who resonate with your idea, the idea of STEM. Set up STEM labs and adopt a curriculum, what can be done in those labs. Train your teachers, implement, review, improve, work with it. Like what you usually do anytime you bring a change, this is what you do every time. Identify the change, identify the trainer, identify the teacher, train the teacher, run the program, get feedback, and improve. But most importantly, if you're serious about it, you got to make a provision in your timetable, and you should have the conviction that this is something that is critical for us to do. Otherwise, it'll be a tick in the box. It'll be, yes, I've also done it. I'm also doing all of these. One period, my child will go once a month, do it and come back. You don't actually give enough time for the child to change because of this. So I'm delighted to announce Diksha has largely been working with 11th and 12th standard students. This year, we are launching our Diksha STEM schools from kindergarten to 12th standard. It'll be going. And a lot of these ideas we are experimenting, working with, figuring out to see how we can put this all together as part of the core curriculum. Like Niti ma'am gave a wonderful presentation on Ek Bharat, Shreshta Bharat, and her statement right at the start was, if you want this program to be viable and meaningful, it has to become part of your curriculum, become part of the syllabus. Likewise, we are working very hard in redesigning the entire curriculum to see how this becomes an integral part of our syllabus, that 40% of the time the child spends in the school will be on these activities, not on your math, science, English, and socials. It'll be on learning by design, learning on project-based learning, sports, arts, and culture. We are starting up with 2 campuses, and we're very happy to partner with, delighted to partner with other schools, share our thoughts and ideas, and see how we can take this change along. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a very exciting time. Like I said at the start, we are at the cusp of our education system for us to truly bring about a revolution. It's a fun and exciting journey ahead of us. And y'all, all the leaders, the educators are at the forefront of this academic revolution. It's in your hands, whether you want to continue doing what you've been doing all these years that you're comfortable doing, or do you believe that, hey, it's time for me to really look and start with a clean sheet and make a change? Because NEP and the government has given us that flexibility to make a change if we want to right now. I'm very excited by it. I have a lot of belief and faith in all the leaders over here, and I wish you all the very best as you all embark on your respective journeys, trying to chalk out the best way forward for our children, for our nation, and for our schools. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me. I hope I added some interest and get some food for thought to you all. to think about the way forward for each of you all. Thank you very much, VSR sir, Venu sir, Alka ma'am, for inviting me over. And my pleasure to be with you all for this August gathering. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Sridhar sir. You gave us not food for the thought only for now, probably for many days, we may have to think and rethink how we can improvise and bring about STEM in our education system. So definitely, if all of us work together, educators, we can bring about. And very well said part, which I take away from sir's talk is, yes, he said that information is available everywhere nowadays. And recently I was listening to one of the researcher. He said down the line, glass is coming, contact lenses are coming. I don't know what name he gives that. Technical contact lenses. With the blink of that contact lenses, information will be in front of me. As of today, is it so?
Very true. Yes, it's already being experimented. It's contact lenses which project the data on, and you just look and you'll see the information in front of you. Very true.
Okay, so I have Google Glass, sir, but this contact lens is something very weird for me at present.
No, you'll be surprised to learn a lot of research is going on mind-brain connection. How to get your thoughts directly, capture them and to do it. So it's already happened. They've set up an experiment where you can think of something. It is able to convert it, transmit it across the internet and put the character A on the other side. It's already happening. Your thoughts are being captured and converted. Yeah, it's going to be remarkable what's going to happen in the world in the next 10, 15 years.
True. So as rightly said by sir, that STEM we have to bring in to our schools in a big manner and amalgamating Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat also. So he has connected both the things together and given us a wonderful lucid presentation. So I would request sir to be here with us for a few more. If we have any queries, we will take up the queries and then we will move back to Niti madam's presentation of how do we upload one. So do we have any queries here? Educators, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can put in the chat box as well. Do we have any queries on this? Okay, so probably, I assume that the sir's presentation was so crystal clear that all of us understood and our minds are full with how do we implement this in, right from the kindergarten till K-12. So thanks a lot, sir.
Wonderful. My pleasure being with you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we'll move on to Niti ma'am and come back for a formal vote of thanks little later. So Niti ma'am, probably you can now go ahead with the queries first, and then we will go back to the presentation if the participants tell us to do so. So participants, Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat presentation, madam has given us a clear picture of what all activities can be done, how the circular has been explained by ma'am, what to do, what activities and all. So now if we have any queries on Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat, we'll take up the queries first and then move on to the uploading part. Either you can unmute yourself or you can put in the chat box. If no queries are there, let us move ahead to how to upload.
Right, ma'am. I'll just share a website.
Sure.
I think it's visible, ma'am, right?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Right. So once the nodal teacher is appointed here, she needs to update her credentials. So once you click on that, you'll get this affiliation part, and then you can fill it up, all the affiliation number, password. I'll just fill it mine and I'll show it to you. It was ready, I think, just. So once you fill in all the details, you will get this dashboard. First, submit the nodal teacher's credentials or details. As you can see here that my credentials are already filled. So once I'll update that, I'll get this particular dashboard. On the dashboard, you have my account. Through my account, you can go to add action plan. And as I already did it, I'll go to my account and I'll show it to how I did it.
Please open the door.
So, ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. We are going to, we are seeing that add action plan window. We have gone back to the previous, I think so.
Right. Once this add action plan, I think you have to select this session and then add action plan. And then you will get a particular slide. It already filled by me, ma'am. So right now I cannot show it to you in detail, but what details you can fill, I can certainly tell you. You have to tick on the activities which you are going to select for that particular year. You're going to write the student numbers. How many students are going to engage in that particular activity, and the teachers who are going to be resource person for that activity. Along with that, if you're not selecting any activities from the list, you can go to the other and type your own activity, click that and add it to your action plan. Because I added everything, I made my annual plan already and uploaded. So right now I cannot do it. It's shown over here. I think all of you can see session is already filled. Please select another session. So I cannot do that right now. Then go to the submit report card activity. You can just click on the particular month. Now, for example, October month. You have to select your activity here. For example, exposure for students to the alphabets and other thing. Total number of targeted participants, students participated, resource person. Again, resource person here is teachers. Total number of resource person participate, same. You can write it down. Venue of the event, school. If it is online, please write it down online also. You have to again write it down here in this brief about event, that how exactly it was conducted in school. Then 2 photographs and 1 short video of each activity you're going to upload here. You can see choose file button here. Click on that. Teachers, nodal teacher, please remember that the photographs and photographs should be in JPEG, in GIF. Then only you can upload that particular file here, and then submit activity data, and you are done for that month. Same way you can go ahead with rest of the months. Right, ma'am, this was the uploading thing. Anything I have to mention here? You can print the activities, you can print the action plan, everything. Any questions? Ma'am was asking something, Lalita ma'am or somebody.
Any queries from any of the participants? You can kindly ask. I think one query what ma'am was is this has to be done for all the classes?
Ma'am, you can do it from 1 to 10, but it is mandatory for grades 6 to 8.
6 to 8, it is mandatory.
Yes.
If the school wishes, they can do.
Yes, they can do it for entire school.
Okay. But uploading.
We are doing it. Yes, ma'am.
Uploading part has to be done from 6 to 8, right?
Ma'am, for any class, you can do the uploading, no problem.
Fine. Rukmini ma'am, thank you ma'am. Rukmini ma'am, you wanted to ask something, kindly go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. This is Rukmini from MR Sakre School. Just I wanted to know, can we change the action plan? Because previously this facility was available. Now it is disabled, I feel. Because
yes, ma'am.
October month's activity we have done and uploaded, everything is done. Just I wanted to know, can we change the action plan?
Action plan you cannot change, ma'am. Once you upload it, it will be like that. So according to action plan, you have to submit the activities. So
Yes,
action plan you cannot, as you can see in my dashboard, it is written that already submitted. So I cannot show
yes,
it to
ma'am.
you.
Even
Exactly.
will show
I'll
in
just
my
show you
login
the
also.
print. I can
Yeah.
show you the print version here.
Yes.
You can see what activities I submitted for my school. Ma'am, can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So these are the activities. One is compulsory, as I told you, the
Yes,
first
ma'am.
one, and the rest of the thing I discussed with you.
Ma'am, one more query I have.
Yes, ma'am.
See, we have selected 5 activities from October month to March month. We are
Yes.
doing accordingly also.
Yes.
But now you said it is mandatory for 6 to 10th.
6 to 8, ma'am. 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those class children have to participate in that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And if somebody needs a parameter for the same, I'll just share with you parameters. For different activities, I have different parameters. You can just go through it. For wall magazines, chart, poster making, these are the parameters. We can assess them. Alka ma'am, is it visible? Am I sharing that?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Yeah. So for wall making, wall magazine, chart, poster making, similar parameters. PPT presentation. So out of 20, you can give, out of 10, you can give. It's up to teacher. Collage work. Creative writing, like essay writing, book review, report writing. Like, so these are the parameters, you can use it. Right, ma'am. So my presentation is done. If any other queries, please go ahead.
Any other queries from participants here? Let me check if on YouTube we have got any queries. No more queries there. So thanks a lot, Niti ma'am. I
Thank
think
you
all
so
of
much,
us
ma'am. Thank you
have
so much
got
for
a
opportunity.
very clear picture of what to do for Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat. I don't think that many of us were having in-depth this kind of knowledge on Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat. So I think now it is very clear. So from all the participants from Smart Cerebrum, we thank you for such a lucid presentation, and all the participants, to you also, many thanks for making this session happen in such interactive manner. So last not the least, I would, though Sridhar sir has left, we would like to propose vote of thanks for him as well.
So hope I am audible. Yeah, okay. So on behalf of Smart Cerebrum, I thank all the direct and indirect participants who are actually helping us to take smart expert group on the path of success. We had two distinct deliverables here today, one through Ms. Niti Madam, where she has highlighted the modalities, procedures, and whatever that needs to be followed when it comes to school education under the program Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat. She has very clearly enumerated the procedures, modalities, and whatever that needs to be taken care of from 1st standard to 10th standard. And she was very clear in her presentation that 6 to 8, it is mandatory requirement also. At the same time, we had Dr. Sridhar, who threw lot of light on how exactly you can bring Ek Bharat Shreshta Bharat into a successful program after your school education. And he threw lot of importance on thinking processes and how the institution has to enable able thinkers and innovative and creative thinkers to make Bharat a real Shreshta Bharat. So I thank all the direct participants, indirect participants, and of course, both the presenters for their exemplar presentation and presentation of facts for the present and the future. Thank each and everyone who have participated in this program, and good evening. Have a nice time. Namaste.
Hello, can we leave, ma'am?